we're talking about censorship, and it so happens that, this Bill Gates is on the road of becoming, after Meghan Markle, the most popular guests on my shows, which, for the record that Meghan Markle has on my shows is very tough to beat, but I've made at least more than 10 analysis of Bill Gates, and none of them are good for him. And in this case, it is not good for him as well, especially when he calls for anti-vaxxers to be censored by AI. Questioning vaccines is inciting violence. Frank Berman, Slate News. Billionaire Bill Gates is calling for members of the general public to be censored by artificial intelligence. I wonder how could that work? How could you use AI to censor people, like in real time? Like I'm, for example, talking right now in a video, and the moment an AI detects that I'm talking about vaccines in some way, or I'm talking about vaccines in a way that Big Pharma doesn't like, or Bill Gates, for some reason, he is the judge and executioner of who decides to say that what is good and bad about vaccines. I mean, I'm up for all kinds of research. I'm up for all kinds of new technologies to make our lives, our quality of life better. But we need to do it in a moral and ethical way, not just pushing this new technology indiscriminately without the proper research. But, Bill Gates says that if you're talking about vaccines, and he is with his usual blur background, his sweater and his shirt, and he's gonna say there's a war. So you can, find if he is really convinced about this. So what does he think?
We should have free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take...
I have a problem. I have a very first problem when someone says we should have freedom of speech, but then they say, but. You know that after that but, there's trouble, because there should be no but after the words we should have free speech. We should have free speech, period. Gates isn't entirely sure how to stop the spread of misinformation. I am not entirely sure how to catalog misinformation. Who gets to decide what is misinformation? Harry! We were talking about Meghan and Harry. Harry is the king of misinformation, not in the way that he wishes to be, but in the way that he actually is. And no, still, with his crusade about misinformation, he cannot say. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Maybe sometimes your opinion might be faulty. You might say that the earth is flat, and you're entitled to your opinion. That's okay. Okay, and you will be wrong as well. I got an email these days. I'm like, hey, Jesus, have you looked into the moon landing conspiracy? Yes, and I have talked about it. And I have talked at large in this, it's not at large, the words. I have talked in this show about the moon landing, and the moon landing was real, and because there's literally zero evidence, non-existent evidence that it was faked. And again, we can discuss this anytime, but this is not the moment and time. But sometimes people talk about misinformation, and people talk about censorship. People say about, oh no, you cannot say that. You cannot talk about the moon landing, for example, if it's fake or real. You cannot talk about that. Or you cannot talk about the flat earth society or any of this. Or you cannot talk about the Antarctica, what is really in Antarctica happening there. Or you cannot talk about what happened to if Elvis is alive. There's a song in Spanish, if Elvis is alive. But no, Bill Gates is actually evil with this because it's the control of people. We're talking about the control of people, which is not good in any way. You could have a laws. If somebody breaks the law, is punished. But if someone has an opinion or someone wants to opt out of vaccines, well, they are in their right. Right? Because it's like if you are, you want to, it's like the Canadian government tells you, hey, you know what? For that that you have, maybe you want to medical, what is the term? Medically assisted self-deletion, like kill yourself, assisted by clinicians. That is the Canadian government. That's what the Canadian government is pushing on people. Maybe you can opt out of that. Maybe you need to consent for the government to actually kill you. That would be nice. That would be nice. And vaccines should work the same way. Vaccines should work the same way.
We should have free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're
inciting violence. What does inciting violence have to do with the fact that we actually want this research? We actually want the technology. We don't want the research to stop. We don't want humanity to become stagnant in technology and health. We want it to, us, humanity, civilization, to thrive with this new, maybe the mRNA technology. Why not? But it has to be thoroughly researched. And there should be no conflict of interest in a commercial way. Oh yeah, the more vaccines people take, the more money goes into big pharma's pockets. Hey, wait a second, how does that work? How do you fix that? How do you, and you have to fix that at some point, because you will know that then the faster these things are green lighted, then the more money big pharma is going to make. No, that is a big conflict of interest.
Causing people not to take vaccines, where are those boundaries that even the U.S.
Yeah, that he does this classic single shoulder shrug. You can see it right here. He's gonna do it.
That even the U.S.
He does it. Bill Gates does it when he is uncomfortable. I remember his interviews about Jeffrey Epstein. You see that he crosses his arms and he tries to keep on talking even with his arms crossed, and he does this single shoulder shrug, which is an usual tell that people are not comfortable with what they are saying. It is not necessary that they are lying, but they're not comfortable. That is just an emotional marker. It's important. It's important to mention that. It's important to say that this guy wants to catalog misinformation. If you say anything about this, if you say anything about what he's trying to push in any way, then you're inciting violence in some way, when all that you're doing is to express an opinion and, well, exert your freedom of speech. Jesus, why does he fold his arms abruptly after making statements? It's my fault. It's my fault. I've noticed that he does that when he's talking about controversial topics that he knows that he's going to get some backlash. He knows, it doesn't matter if he's just talking to a camera. He's just talking to a camera in this moment. But he knows that his words are going to be heavily scrutinized for reasons, of course. And maybe he gets nervous. No, how am I going to get away with this? And his words should be scrutinized. It's something that has to happen.
Should, have rules. And then if you have rules, what is it? Is there some AI that encodes those rules? Because you have billions of activity, and, if you catch it a day later, the harm is done.
The problem is that who programs the AI? The AI is not this completely neutral and gray and innocent system. No, the AI is trained on something. Who trains the AI, and in which content? Is the content actually unbiased? Is the content actually from the legacy media? Is the content based on all the people that actually don't want free speech to be completely free? Those are the questions. Those are the questions that we should be looking onto, and we need to push back against this. We need to push back against this, and I don't care. I know that so many platforms, especially Facebook, for example, or YouTube, don't like this kind of. I am not questioning anything, YouTube. I see you. I see the FBI. I see the CIA. I see all this. Not only the three-letter agency. I see YouTube. I can feel YouTube. breathe in, like next to my neck. Don't talk about that. You cannot talk about that. It's whispering, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just exerting my freedom of speech, of analyzing a video. That's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm doing. And I would like to know, what do you think about this anti-misinformation campaign from, well, one of the most evil men in the world right now? Let me know in the comments. Remember to download my 100 body language tips, because we will be in touch. You will get my emails and you will get my completely free body language tips for your learning and enjoyment as well. I don't make much jokes in there, but it's very useful. And